Hi guys, this is Tristan from Various Tech Things, and welcome to my unboxing, review, and general experience with the Mad Dogs headphones from Mr. Speakers. Now, these $300 pair of planar magnetic headphones can only be purchased new from Mr. Speakers himself, and the reason for this is that every single pair is hand-modded to achieve the desired sound. It's really interesting, and I think it deserves a good review. So you did hear me right, the Mad Dogs are a specifically and specially modded pair of T50RP headphones from Fostex. Now, Fostex was quietly manufacturing the T50RP, which features a planar magnetic driver, which is a little bit different from the typical dynamic driver that you would find in your standard headphone. But they were quietly making that for almost 10 years, and then the high-end audiophile market came along. Audeze and Hi-Fi-Man both started producing planar magnetics. Most notable would be the HE400 and the Audeze LCD2, I believe. The people discovered that while these Summit Fi grade headphones were really nice sounding, they were also really expensive. And that's where certain modders came along. They rediscovered the T50RP from Fostex and proceeded to change the internals enough to create a sound that came close and sounded a little bit similar to headphones that costed 3 or 4 times as much. It's something impressive, really. So the most notable ones that I have seen are the Mad Dogs and the ZMF headphones. Both of those have had a great deal of popularity, and the one that I'm going to be reviewing today is the Mad Dogs, of course. Now, before we get too far into this, one thing that I want to make very clear is that the T50RPs are nothing like the Mad Dogs. Yes, they look the same, and yes, they have the same foundation, but the Mad Dogs have been modified so extensively that it's almost unfair to consider them to be the same headphone. It's totally different, and I think it deserves to be treated as such. To start off with the review, let's take a look at the way that the Mad Dogs were packaged. When I first opened up the plain brown cardboard box that they arrived in, I was greeted with bubble wrap and this plain white box. Now, the only branding that we can see on this white box is a Mad Dog sticker. Now, Mr. Speakers, or Dan Clark to be exact, has said that the reason that packaging is kept so minimal is so that extra funds can be given to making the headphones sound better, which is, in my opinion, a perfectly acceptable trade-off. Once I opened the white box, I was greeted by 2 pieces of soft foam and the headphones themselves, stored inside a very nice velvet bag adorned with the Mr. Speakers tag on the side. And within this bag we find the Mad Dogs, as well as the stock cable, which terminates in a 1/4-inch jack, as well as an additional cable that is nicely braided, actually made by V-Moda, and terminates in a standard 3.5mm jack for your more typical devices. When I first picked up the Mad Dogs, my first impression was that they were really premium. That's the word that came to mind. The Alpha pads that Mr. Speakers has included are the same ones that are included with the Alpha Dogs, a headphone that costs twice as much, and they're really nice. It's almost 2 inches thick of real authentic leather with memory foam inside, and it's really got like a perfect amount of squishiness to it. One other modification that you can immediately notice is that Mr. Speakers has included what he calls a comfort strap. This is also made out of leather, and it secures to the top of the headphones, and surprisingly it is ridiculously helpful. Without it, you would have this metal band with a very thin layer of soft plastic over it, and that would be the only thing that would touch your head. But with this, it's a nice way to distribute the weight evenly and make sure that the Mad Dogs remain properly comfortable. One other thing that I want to mention here is that according to Dan, they've only had 2 complaints ever from the Mad Dogs swivel hinge breaking off, and it's really something that you can feel safe and secure about. I do have a couple of complaints about the Mad Dogs comfort, however. While the Alpha pads and comfort strap really do help distribute the weight, it's still heavy, and it's a little bit uncomfortable for extended periods of use, in my opinion. Now, my case could be a little bit different than most because I use a standing desk and I'm standing right now to record this. It could be a little bit different from your standard sitting down position, but to me, I found them still a little bit heavy. Another thing you can't really avoid is that they're huge. They're just really big, and that's something that the Alpha Dogs contribute a lot to. It really makes it a lot more comfortable, but it also makes it more big, and I'll show you that right now. So when I put on the Mad Dogs, it's pretty impressive actually. I can instantly barely hear myself, and it's something that's a little bit impressive. One thing to note, however, is that the width of the cups, as well as the actual drivers here and the rest of it, is pretty much as big as my face. So they're some pretty big headphones, and that's not really something that you can see unless you're looking at it from the front. They are fairly secure on your head. They don't really come off, which is nice. And one thing that I do like and appreciate about these is that if you needed to, by bending very carefully, bending the metal on top here, you can easily adjust the clamping force of the headphones. I've set mine to a little bit looser than how they came stock, and it's really very easy to adjust. The sliding mechanism here also means that you'll be able to fit most heads with this. And here's a demonstration of that swivel joint there. On the note of comfort, the last complaint that I had is that when you're wearing glasses, it's a little bit less comfortable. Just because the Alpha Pads kind of press them against your head, but it's not really something that I would be too concerned about, and I'd say we can definitely overlook that. Now, of course, these are headphones, and I'm sure that you're interested to hear how they sound. Now, before I jump into this, I want to once again state that everybody is different and your mileage may vary. So if there's something that I wasn't thrilled about, it doesn't mean that you won't like it, and vice versa. That being said, my experience with the Mad Dogs is that they are far more open sounding than a typical closed back headphone. When I put them on for the first time and tried them out with a couple of songs, I was genuinely taken aback by how wide they seemed and just how large the soundstage appeared. This also led to greater clarity and definition, and I was very impressed in this regard by the Mad Dogs, keeping in mind that they are a closed pair of headphones. If you compare these to a typical open pair of headphones like the HD 598s from Sennheiser, obviously there's a big difference there, but still, for a closed pair of headphones, this is pretty impressive. However, after I listened to the Mad Dogs for a while, I found my opinion starting to waver. The Mad Dogs are dark, and a lot of that is because they are a closed headphone, and for most closed headphones that's not really something that you can avoid. However, for me, they still were a little bit darker for my taste. Then again, if that's something that you like, don't give my opinion a second thought. Your mileage may vary. Again, in conclusion, I'm impressed with the Mad Dogs. They genuinely surprised me with their soundstage, their clarity, and their impressive build quality. But they also surprised me in a not so great way with their weight, comfort issues in my case, and darkness. In the end, I opted to return them in exchange for something a little bit lighter and brighter. So, are the Mad Dogs a good pair of headphones? Yes, certainly. They are a very good pair of headphones. Are they a good pair of headphones for me? No, they aren't. And while that's something that I would consider to be most definitely my personal taste, they might not work for you either. Just something to keep in mind. However, if you are in the market for a $300 pair of headphones that are darker than others and are closed back, the Mad Dogs are most definitely worth looking into, and I would say thank you to Mr. Speakers for creating such an excellent pair of headphones at a relatively affordable price, and for being such a large member in the community. He responded to my post very quickly and answered all of my questions efficiently and precisely, which is a lot more than some big companies, so thumbs up to you there. Really appreciate that. That's definitely something that I like. Anyways guys, thank you for watching this review. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, then be sure to leave a like and or subscribe. I have been Tristan, and I will catch you in the next video. Have a great day, guys.